Disney just did something really rare twice. Audio animatronics are one of my favorite things about Disney World, but typically when they retire an animatronic, that's the last we'll ever see of our robot friend. And as fans, we just hope that they don't get the Chuck E. Cheese treatment, thrown in the trash or thrown in jail. But within the span of 1 week, Disney rebooted two beloved animatronics in two different ways. The first, Tom Morrow 2.0, the mini-matronic who was the host of Imagineering on the Disney Channel from 1999 until 2001, and could also be seen at Innoventions until 2007, was just brought back online after 18 years to host a new iteration of Imagineering on YouTube. And the original peg-leg Pete Barker bird that sat at the entrance of Pirates of the Caribbean until 2006 has now returned in a new way, as Rummy, an incredible figure who can walk. Rummy can be seen at the Beak and Barrel, the Pirates of the Caribbean tavern at Magic Kingdom. He's both delighting guests and making reservations even harder to secure. So who should Disney bring back next? I have a few ideas. Hi, I'm James from Guide to WDW, and today I'm counting down defunct animatronics that Disney World should totally bring back. Rummy and Tom Morrow 2.0 have now joined a very rare lineup of animatronics that vanished, but then, like the Hatbox Ghost's head, have reappeared. So what other animatronics should be saved from the metaphorical trash heap of Disney World history? I'm counting down my top 7 picks. Speaking of trash, let's start with an animatronic who doesn't really look like an animatronic. Number 7, Push. And that's the point. As far as animatronics go, Push is not the most advanced, but he may be the most delightful because of the element of surprise. Push is a trash can that can magically come to life, which is perfect for Disney World, where even trash cans can have a cult fan following.
High five! High five! Right in the forehead. Thanks, Buzz.
This radio-controlled robot could rove around, speak, and even one time helped out with a marriage proposal. But according to Atlas Obscura, Push was also known to flirt with the guests, which is a little trashy if you ask me. Still, Push gained international fame, making appearances at Disney World, Disneyland, Paris, Hong Kong, and Tokyo. Push is possibly the most famous trash can in the world. Push had a good run from 1995 through 2014, but I'm not sure how likely it is that he'll come back. Surprisingly, Disney didn't outright own the rights to Push, and there was a contract dispute between Disney and Real Simple Ideas, the company that did own the rights. So we might just have to throw our hopes away. But if Disney was able to wrangle the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit back from a company as big as Universal, I think they can get the rights to this magical trash can back, if they're pushy enough. Number 6, Buzzy. Located in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, Cranium Command was such a delightful and underrated Disney World show. It took you inside the mind of a child, it had a lot of heart and humor, and featured SNL actors. It was basically Inside Out before Inside Out. And fittingly, Inside Out director Pete Docter actually worked on the animation of the pre-show for Cranium Command very early on in his career. The star of Cranium Command was Buzzy, a precocious little guy who was thrown in the role of piloting a 12-year-old boy, which is basically the Top Gun Maverick impossible mission for a Cranium Commander. Buzzy's animatronic was great. It had very dynamic movement with this chair that swiveled around. And the show had a classic story of Buzzy being in way over his head, but at the end prevails.
Use your head, don't lose your head. It's easy. You'll be flying in no time. As a member of the Cranium Command. Bye!
Buzzy has become legendary, not just because he's from a beloved attraction, but also, according to online reports, Buzzy was stolen. A former Disney employee was caught selling Buzzy's clothes on the black market, which may be the weirdest crime you could have on your rap sheet. I think it's time for Buzzy to come back. Now, the new Imagineering show did have a Cranium Command pennant sitting behind Tom Morrow, which is probably just a cute Easter egg and not a clue to any actual plans. But the Wonders of Life building has been sitting closed for years and is prime real estate for something new. I recently speculated that a new idea for this pavilion could feature Inside Out or Big Hero 6 attractions, and a viewer suggested, why not both? A new Wonders of Life pavilion that focuses on mental health with Inside Out, physical health with Big Hero 6, and then Buzzy could be the mascot of the whole pavilion. Just like how the magic of Disney animation at Hollywood Studios is being revived and bringing back Robin Williams' Lost Boy character, I really hope Wonders of Life and Buzzy get a similar treatment. For the next animatronic, let's stay in Epcot, where there are a lot of retired animatronics to choose from, including over 150 from World of Motion, the entire cast of Kitchen Cabaret, but I'm going to put my eye on the Horizons. Because Horizons is one of the best defunct Disney World attractions ever. It was a spiritual successor to Carousel of Progress. Where Carousel told the story of life of a family through the 20th century, Horizons depicted a family in the 21st century, where there were tons of inventive scenes and a choose-your-own-adventure ending. Bringing back Horizons is one of the biggest elder Disney nerd wishes out there. But this elder Disney nerd is going to choose a different ending, because there's one place where some of the family would fit in really well. As I said in my deep dive review of Test Track 3.0, one of my biggest praises of the reimagined ride is that it captures that classic Epcot feeling like Spaceship Earth or Living with the Land. Imagineering talked a lot about how they were inspired by the pavilion's original attraction, World of Motion. And you can tell. There are even direct references and Easter eggs to World of Motion, as well as other retired attractions like Innoventions. But one complaint that I have is that unlike World of Motion, which had so many animatronics, Test Track 3.0 doesn't feature any. And there's one scene that sorely needs it, the home of Tomorrow. Now, bringing back some of the World of Motion characters wouldn't fit the futuristic theme of moving forward on the road to tomorrow. But you know who would fit? The Horizons family. Have the grandfather use the 3D printer or the robot butler tending to the plants. These don't need to be the most advanced animatronics ever, but something on the level of what's there on Spaceship Earth or Hux on Rise of the Resistance. It would make the scene feel even more Epcot-y and be a nice nod to the past. I'd love to see it. You know what else I'd love to see? If you're enjoying this video so far, give it a like and get subscribed to Guide to WDW for more Disney lists and deep dives. Mickey Mouse has had a lot of jobs. Gondolier, race car driver, Ghostbuster. Honestly, his resume is kind of all over the place. But his career might have peaked with his stint as magician at the Magic Kingdom, which went much better than his apprenticeship. Number 4. Running for 7 years, Mickey the Magnificent was honestly the best meet and greet Disney World's ever done, because it felt legitimately magical. Not because of any of his tricks. Honestly, his act needed a bit of work.
Is this your card?
No.
It's not.
But this meet and greet was magnificent. Mickey had an animatronic head with a moving mouth and blinking eyes, and he would interact with guests. He'd talk and respond to what you'd say. According to a Disney patent, the operator of the animatronic could select from a wide library of pre-recorded responses, and it made for legitimately magical moments. When my nephew was 3, he was a huge Mickey Mouse Clubhouse fan, and this Mickey sang and danced the hot dog song with him, which for a toddler was probably like getting to be in the room with the Beatles as they jammed out to Get Back. Now, Disney has expanded these animatronic heads to other characters, which is great, but they're limited to stage shows, grand openings, and weirdly enough, sporting events. Like throwing out the first pitch or accidentally interrupting a basketball game. But Disney World removed this interactive meet and greet in 2018. I've seen speculation that it's because of cost or because the animatronic head is so heavy and cumbersome, and that's why he disappeared. But as Michael Caine once said,
every magic trick consists of 3 parts.
We're just waiting for the prestige, and Mickey the Magnificent will magically reappear. Or he's stuck under the stage with hundreds of drowned Hugh Jackmen. What kind of act is that? For the next animatronics on this list, that's an act of mercy. Number 3, Statler and Waldorf. With the closure of Muppet Vision 3D this past June, these recently retired animatronics finally have enough time to go to the bathroom. Brian Henson confirmed that all the animatronics from the show have been preserved, and in my Future of Hollywood Studios video, I made a slightly conspiracy theory adjacent case that Muppet Vision will be brought back to the Villains Theater sometime in a few years. Now, that might be wishful thinking on my part, but even if Muppet Vision is truly gone forever... Forever? Yes, forever. I still think Statler and Waldorf should be brought back. These grumpy old men were such a great part of Muppet Vision. My last time seeing Muppet Vision, I just watched Statler and Waldorf the whole time, and I really appreciated how they were animated to react to the entire show, even when they weren't the focus. When there was a 3D effect in the movie, they'd look out into the audience like the pie is actually floating out beyond the screen. So even though these animatronics are from the early 90s, they still look great. After all, Muppets are fantastic as animatronics. Unlike the challenge of bringing a real person to life as a robot, a Muppet is one-to-one accurate. Maybe they should have made Walt a Muppet.
Ooh! Terrible!
Fair enough. If not Muppet Vision, where else could these two come back? Well, there is Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets coming next year. Disney just released concept art of the pre-show, and per Scott Gustin, Disney confirmed that the audio engineer penguins and Scooter are animatronics. So while we're at it, I'd love to see Statler and Waldorf somewhere else in the queue. It would be great if they were interactive now and would heckle guests as they pass by, kinda like Mr. Potato Head in Midway Mania. But my favorite idea comes from Joey Nolfi, friend of the show and co-host of the Park Peeps podcast. He was a guest on another great podcast, For Your Amusement, to talk about Rock and Roller Coaster. Seriously, check out both of those podcasts, they're two of my favorites. And Joey suggested that Statler and Waldorf should be put at the load station of the new ride right above the launch, taunting you as you get shot out from 0 to 57 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds. I love that idea so much. But you could honestly put them anywhere. Put them on Tower of Terror, stick them in a booth in Oga's, over at Bonnet Creek, by the hotel, and make it the Statler and Waldorf Astoria. Imagine that. Speaking of imagination and seamless transitions, number 2, Dreamfinder. I've talked at length about how much better the original version of Journey into Imagination was, and I'm not stopping now. It was truly one of Imagineering's best attractions ever, and at the heart of it all was not Figment, but Dreamfinder. Dreamfinder was the whimsical embodiment of invention and imagination. He's the one who created Figment. At the beginning of the ride, he describes all the different parts of what makes the figment of imagination. And Dreamfinder guides Figment and us through the infinite possibilities of imagination, from literature to art to science. Figment and Dreamfinder work as a duo. Dreamfinder with his kindly wisdom, and Figment with his childlike enthusiasm. Personally, I don't think Figment works nearly as well without Dreamfinder. In the current ride, Dr. Nigel Channing is annoyed that Figment is there. I think that's just a structural problem. You go on the ride to see Figment, and the host of the Figment ride spends 80% of the Figment ride complaining that Figment is on the Figment ride.
Figment, you are not to interfere with the tour!
So weirdly enough, even though the current version of the ride has now run longer, people don't think of Dr. Channing and Figment as a duo, like they do with Dreamfinder and Figment. Have you ever heard anyone clamoring for any Dr. Nigel Channing merch? When the Journey into Imagination reboot happens eventually, they need to bring back Dreamfinder, and make him a very impressively animated A1000 animatronic who takes you on a journey through imagination. Instead of having a ride about the senses, make it about creativity and ingenuity again. It should be a ride that inspires and ignites a spark of imagination like the original. But that all starts by bringing back Dreamfinder as an animatronic. So as much as I'd love to see Dreamfinder revived as an animatronic, my number 1 pick combines a lot of what we've already included on this list. Classic Epcot, interactivity, innovation, and Muppets. Number 1, the Muppet Mobile Labs. Free-roaming animatronics are having a moment this summer, with Herbie from Fantastic Four rolling through Disneyland, and with the BDX droids finally appearing at Disney World. Seeing those gave me big Muppet Mobile Labs vibes, which is a huge compliment, because Muppet Mobile Labs is one of the best things Imagineering has ever done. Speaking of duos, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker are a fantastic comedy team, and this made for a hilarious show. Muppet legends Dave Goelz and Steve Whitmer consulted on the project, where Imagineering put 2 Muppet animatronics on a rocket, on a self-balancing Segway, and filled it with effects. What other animatronics could shoot confetti? And the whole thing was full of sensors and cameras that allowed it to be puppeteered remotely from miles away, including a camera in the middle of Bunsen's glasses that let the animatronic really look at guests that he was interacting with.
Thank you so much for participating, Bennett. Well done, sir. You'll be a wonderful lab assistant for someone somewhere.
It won a Thea in 2009, and it's achieved this mythical status because it was a relatively rare character encounter at Disney parks. There was no set schedule. Bunsen and Beaker would just kind of roll in and just surprise and delight guests. Not to turn every video I make into a plea to put more Muppets into the parks, but in my big Future of Hollywood Studios video, which is a really good video you should totally check out, I make the case that this corner of Sunset Boulevard should be transformed into a Muppet Studios land. They could bring Muppet Vision back, bring back the Miss Piggy Fountain, and give Muppet Mobile Labs a new home to roam around. After all, Muppet Labs plays a part in the new story of Rock and Roller Coaster, so it seems fitting that they'd rock and roll outside of G-Force Records. But I want to know what you think. Are there any animatronics you hope Disney brings back? Let me know. This has been James from Guide to WDW. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon!